Picture this, it's 2015, a super exciting year for Star Wars fans. For the first time in a decade, a new Star Wars movie has been announced and hyped up all year and is going to release in December. Everyone's ecstatic. Harrison Ford, Carrie Fisher, Mark Hamill is confirmed to return in the cast alongside some promising, relatively new faces. The CGI looks better than ever, and the wait is killing you since it's announced nearly a year beforehand. 5 months later, EA drops a reveal trailer for some new Star Wars game, and it looks phenomenal. Impressive visuals just like the upcoming movie, nearly lifelike for 2015, although it's clearly a pre-rendered cinematic, loose representation of what the game will be like. It's exciting all the more, piggybacking off the hype of the new movie. But right away, you notice there's no footage shown of any prequel or this new sequel content. Odd, but regardless, you're still excited for them to finally remake Battlefront 10 years later. Just think about the good times. In June, EA dropped some actual multiplayer gameplay footage. The maps are atmospheric just like you remember, the graphics are just amazing. But then, something horrible happens. What the hell is this, Mario Kart? Instead of earning points for getting kills and playing the objective, you now just find better weapons and items with this goofy looking coin. And even worse, you need a rarer variant to play as a hero. This ultimately meant that every online match, every pleb is just gunning it for the nearest hero token. And you can even get shot while using it. The game launched with an abysmal amount of content, nowhere near the amount the original 2004 one did. And tons of maps are locked behind paid DLC. Disappointing, but hey, the new Star Wars movie might be... Oh hey, they're remaking the sequel. Oh hell yeah, Battlefront 2 was just a bigger, better Battlefront 1 back in the day. Surely EA figured this one out.
What the Okay.
Yeah, that's the version of the Battlefront remake launch that I did not experience. I didn't even know the EA games were remakes until I picked up the original one on PS2 for $5 on eBay. So I thought they were fine enough Star Wars games. Always figured licensed crap was, well, crap, but boy did the classic games prove me wrong. Now he's spending the rest of this video rectifying that mistake. With the launch of the classic collection, many more people will become aware of how much EA scammed them, and in turn get scammed by Aspire, but I'll come back to this. First talking point I want to go over is of course the most obvious one, the severe drop-off of content. The remakes pale in comparison to the OGs. For reference, the OG Battlefront had 16 maps, 17 with a free update on Xbox. Battlefront 2015 had 14 maps, and you had to pay extra for some of them. Not to mention, a lot of them aren't even available in offline mode, and Battlefront 2015 only covers the original trilogy. Absolutely nothing for the movie coming out the month after. This is pitiful, but it gets worse with the 2-2s. Battlefront 2 2017, 11 Galactic Assault maps. 2005, 15 Galactic Assault maps. What the heck happened here, EA? I get that game development has come a very long way, so gamers have expected better graphics, thus more work is required for pretty much every edition, but EA didn't even have to go this hard on the graphics. Had they made the game a bit more stylized, then that would have worked a lot better from the get-go. Cartoony graphics, cartoony game. But no, they just made Battlefield again. Okay, the remakes do have the OGs beat in the number of modes, but I'll come back to this. I can't even say this is Battlefield. This is worse. They dumbed it down so much that your guns don't even use ammo anymore. They just overheat. You have infinite shots, and this applies to every single gun in both remakes besides the commando rifle, so they all blend together. This also makes it incredibly easy to camp, since you'll never run out of bullets. But even worse, you heal automatically. After a few seconds of not taking any damage, boom, your health bar gets filled all the way up. Even more incentive to camp. The original Battlefront solved this problem 20 years ago. You have to walk up to a supply or medical droid to get ammunition or health, and these are almost always placed in hotspots or in a base, so you can't camp forever. Not to mention, getting kills and performing feels terrible in the remake. Sure, you see a number go up, and that hit marker is kinda satisfying, but you don't actually get anything other than scoring points if you're playing Blast. Oh, did I mention they gutted Galactic Assault? Yeah, the closest thing to capping command points in the remake is activating these stupid uplinks in Walker Assault that take like 5 seconds to turn on or off. This makes every single Walker Assault match an annoying trek from one uplink to another, as every time you get one uplink on, another turns off. And this is when another huge problem becomes very apparent. The game just doesn't spawn enough AI combatants. I've seriously had matches where I had to run around and search for people to shoot. A stark contrast to the original Battlefront games. You might be thinking, oh, super, just turn up the difficulty. But that doesn't fix it. You just take more damage, and the very few AI you do encounter can actually aim now. While the maps look amazing, they fail to actually feel like a war. Sure, sometimes a fancy explosion goes off next to you, but that doesn't mean anything. Star Starships in the air straight up shoot the ground just for cinematic effect. They even do this in the trailer. I only remember getting killed from an airstrike like twice my entire playtime. This leads to the game feeling insanely empty because it was severely lacking content at launch, and the new content they were adding you had to pay extra for. And to make it even worse, all the DLC content can't be played offline. Instant action got so nerfed, man. They renamed it to Skirmish, and you can only play 4 different modes offline. Walker Assault being the main highlight, which is the only mode anyone really cared about besides Hero Battle. Anyway, whatever. Only Walker Assault, Fighter Squadron, Hero Battle, and Survival are available offline. That sounds pretty on par with the original's instant action, but let's break these modes down. Fighter Squadron's the same as online. The dogfighting in this game is just serviceable. Problem: the lock-on mechanic makes it way too easy. Another problem: all the maps just take place above the Walker Assault maps, so they're all the same, which, again, is the same mode from online. No changes or accommodations were made for offline split screen. The same pitiful max number of AI spawns. It's only 20 versus 20 because the game treats each AI as an actual player, in contrast to the original 100 plus AIs on the classic PC ports Excel mode.
Hey, this is good AI. They're not too dumb. I actually got killed by one. I wasn't thinking they'd actually know what to do.
Couldn't find the exact number, but the community generally agrees it's in the hundreds. And just look at this versus this. Blast is just team deathmatch, but you can't even play that offline. And Survival just pits you against an admittedly more concentrated amount of AI. They fight in waves, so it feels like more enemies are coming at you, but I'm not actually sure. Anyway, this mode isn't fun without friends. And then there's Hero Battle. That's it. Let's compare this to 2005's Battlefront 2. We get Galactic Assault on pretty much every map, higher AI counts, command points are infinitely less annoying than uplinks because they take longer to capture, and walkers aren't forced onto every ground map. If you want walkers, just play on a wide open map like Hoth where it makes sense. The new Classic Collection allows for up to 64 players online, even though the same release did that too. And wait a second, kills actually contribute to winning the match. They earn you better weapons alongside damage and health buffs. You earn the right to heroes by scoring points and not just gunning it for a stupid token. You have to earn health and ammo by killing players to drop pickups or risk going to an exposed medical droid. Oh my days. You get what I'm saying? One singular mode in the original Battlefront 2 clears all the offline modes in Battlefront 2015. At this point, the original Battlefront 2 was over a decade old, and it was superiorly designed to the massive AAA EA release. But wait, we're not done yet. The vehicles in Battlefront 2015 are just like the heroes in the way you have to pick up a stupid token to use them. In the original 2004 Battlefront, you just walk up to a vehicle you want to get into and hit E. Okay, so Battlefront 2015 was a disaster, falling extremely short of the 2005 and even the 2004 Battlefront in some areas. But as I said, it was graphically impressive. And going back, it's nice to see some focus on the best trilogy of Star Wars when it seems all Disney can make now is sequel and prequel content about nothing burger characters only nothing burger people care about. But that's about all the praise I can give this game. There is no reason EA should have faltered this much. Anyway, another remake is announced and then released in 2017. EA's Battlefront 2. Is this any better? No it ain't, but you probably know that. Pretty much the same story as Battlefront 2015. They added prequel content, but there's nothing really cool added that you wouldn't see in the OGs. Also, there's a weird focus on sequel content after The Force Awakens came out and everyone realized it's just slop. Yeah, this was an unfortunate move, and you likely already know about the child gambling debacle, lack of content at launch, insane bugs, and all that other crap that comes with a AAA release that uses a beloved IP to sell slop. I forgot to mention, Battlefront 2015 didn't come with a campaign, but I didn't really care since the 2004 Battlefront didn't really have one either. It was literally just a glorified playlist. EA's Battlefront 2 launched with a campaign, and it's terrible. Think really linear Far Cry missions where the AI breaks themselves every gunfight. It's mindless. The story was marketed as this weird Empire perspective thing, but the main characters all defect to the light side of the halfway point, and the entire campaign is carried by fan service, which consists of Mark Hamill's descent into madness and Han Solo selling Girl Scout cookies. Huge disappointment. Now, I was thinking of ending the video around here, and in case you haven't noticed, I mentioned the recently released Classic Collection only twice. The reason for that being I actually wrote a huge chunk of the script while I was bored one day. Something came up, as something always does. It got buried in my Google Docs, and I forgot about it until the trailer dropped for the Classic Collection. So, whoops. If you're new to these classic games as I was, you might be considering buying the Classic Collection, and this next segment will greatly help you make your decision, as I'll be going in depth as to what makes these games so great, what shows their age, and what Aspyr did to these amazing games. I pre-ordered this crap because I'm a sucker for Battlefront, and I was holding out hope that this is a test fire for a potential Battlefront 3 sometime down the line, but you know how that saying about wishing in hands go. There There are a ton of differences that make the classic games better than the remakes, and I'll be starting with the big one, Galactic Conquest. If you've never played this mode, you seriously missed out. It adds context to all your instant action matches by placing each map on this grid that two sides fight over depending on which campaign you chose when starting the game. You command around this big ship and try to take over the other team's planets while defending your own. There's a currency system here that adds a bit more strategy. You get a lot of credits for a win and some pity points for a loss, which you can then spend on power-ups or another ship to command around, thus allowing you to take multiple vantage points. When you land on an unoccupied enemy planet, a ground battle commences. You get to choose your power-up here, and you have so many options. If you win, you take over said planet. If you lose, then your ship explodes. If you land on a space with an enemy ship on it, then a space battle ensues. And space battles in this game are awesome.
Out of all these people here, I don't know how I'm gonna find you. Please, 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 please.
Dude, did you right suicide bomb me?
God damn. No,
You
right.
You dude, you
almost hit
crashed
you?
right in front of me.
I know I'm kind of neglecting Battlefront 1 2004 right now, but that game didn't even have designated space battles like Battlefront 2, and I absolutely love these. You can dogfight other fighters and win that way if you really wanted to, or you could just straight up attack the enemy's command ship and blow up segments, or you could take your ship and invade the enemy ship from the inside. Essentially, there are 3 ways to play this one mode.
Our defenses have already been destroyed. How?
I don't even know. I mean, that was really quick.
And you could swap up your tactics at any time.
Out of here!
I'm not even here. What are you talking about? That's not me.
I think I just blew myself up. I did.
Some cats
oh.
You never get this level of freedom with the new Battlefronts. Heck, Galactic Conquest never returned, and that's a darn shame. The classic Battlefront 2 campaign is a fun time as well, taking you through the story of the 501st, which sadly a crappy Disney Plus series retconned, but it's intriguing enough if you like Tamora Morrison's voice. Unlike the first Battlefront, this campaign actually has some content that doesn't show up in multiplayer. There's like an extraction segment where you have to retrieve a holocron and escape an onslaught of droids, but you can't lose too many troops, so be careful. And there's another segment where you have to transport a tank and defend it from these giant praying mantises. I know I sound too impressed right now, and the reason for that is because Battlefront 2 2005 must have only had around a year maximum of development time, given how close the classic Battlefront's release dates are, and it's still better than what EA could do. The final mission is really hard though, it took me so many tries to beat it. There are some other modes of the classic Battlefront 2 features besides Galactic and Space Assault. They include Capture the Flag, One Flag, Hunt, and Hero Assault. Capture the Flag and Hero Assault are pretty self-explanatory, but you can only play Hero Assault on Mos Eisley in the base game unless you mod it or are playing through the new collection, which I wouldn't recommend doing. It's heroes versus villains, but better. More AI, you can heal from pickups, the lightsabers are just better in general in this game. In the remake, when you swing your lightsaber, your character rebalances themselves forward and treats the lightsaber as if it's a bat made out of osmium or something. In this game, characters effortlessly swing the lightsaber as if it's made of, well, light.
It was, what was it? Melee, I think?
Yes. Oh, is that you? Oh,
That's me. Darth Maul is the best one.
no, I can still what?
Force powers are funner to play with here too.
5. Yeah, fuck that. Yeah,
Oh,
no.
Luke,
That's-
sorry. Luke Skywalker.
Oh, that's you?
No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not.
Oh, fuck, no!
You fell?
God damn!
Oh, I won!
God damn! How? You only have one!
Capture the Flag is just Capture the Flag, only fun with friends, but it's nice to have. Same story with One Flag, but I find that a bit more thrilling. And Hunt is interesting. You can play as the colonized or the colonizers. While the remakes have the classic Battlefronts beat in number of modes, the classics have the remakes beat in quality, with you not only being able to experience everything online and offline, but you can pretty much experience everything Battlefront 2015 has to offer in Galactic Assault on Hoth. Look, you got your heroes, AI, everything Battlefront 2015 offers in single player, right on one map, on one mode. I want to briefly talk about Battlefront 2 2017, but I'll double time it because I gotta wrap this up. I already talked about the campaign and how it sucks, but now I want to talk about the actual gameplay. It's an improvement over Battlefront 2015. Lightsabers have a bit less downtime between swings I've noticed, and the hero abilities were fine-tuned. I am talking about the state of the game after child gambling was removed and all the updates were added, of course. What Battlefront 2 2017 has over the OG is, of course, the graphics and netcode. Online multiplayer is a lot more stable in the remake, and the classic one I rubber band constantly, and it's even worse in the classic collection. Honestly, they buffed heroes way too much in the remake, though. In the classic game, you very well can get a hero on one go as long as you dodge enough and have enough ammunition, whereas in the remake, they're so spongy. If you see Darth Vader 50 feet in the distance, don't even engage, just run. Now, why is Battlefront fun? Up until this point, point, I've kind of just been complaining and assuming that you're a Star Wars fan, thus would be easily sold on the Star Wars third-person shooter, but I do want to make some genuine points as to why I like this game so much. I'm mainly talking about Battlefront 2 2005 because that has more content and is slightly more polished, even though it leaves behind some oddly specific features from the first game. You can't go prone anymore, and you can't go in first person in vehicles. Some maps don't return as well, but I think playable heroes, a proper campaign, and space battles more than make up for that. So again, if you're just gonna get one game, I'll tell you right here, get Battlefront 2 2005. The modding scene is amazing, and I might make a separate video on that alone if enough of y'all are interested. So, the real Battlefront 2 is a third-person war shooter, not a mindless arcade shooter like the remake. I'd call it an RTS as to what Worms is for turn-based strategy games. Let me put it like this. You're outnumbered, the enemy AI sucks, and the game knows this and wants you to carry your team, so you can't just afford to hide in the cave the whole game. Your choices with vehicles, heroes, items, and classes are key to victory. There are so many different classes in this game as well. It changes depending on what era, side, and map you chose as well. Not all eras and maps have the same classes. The new Battlefront 2 has all playable classes under unified classes, and sure, they're different, but that stupid heat system kinda just makes them all blend together. Not to mention the fact you can't even carry a secondary in the remakes. Insane. Another thing I want to applaud in the original game is the crosshair. With just the crosshair, the game tells you how much ammo you have loaded, if your secondary weapon's on cooldown, and if you can shoot. It's a genius design that allows you to keep your focus in the middle of the action and not look down in a corner to check how much ammo you have loaded. I really like the stamina system too. Sprinting is super fast and rolling is a lot of fun. Super satisfying to dodge incoming projectiles and explosions with it. So I already stated that the initial Steam release of Battlefront 2 was well worth the $10. But how is the collection? Oh boy. Gonna start off by putting on the tinfoil hat and noting that in the leading days of the collection's release, I noticed stunningly my installation of the standalone old Steam release of Battlefront 2 began having problems with audio cutting out and crashes. Has me wondering, if Aspire is scummy enough to steal Mars' work, what else are they willing to do? This collection is 50 gigabytes on computer. I have no idea how Aspire managed to recover 50 gigabytes of 20-year-old textures, but that's what they want you to believe. They had to have used AI or something. This is actually insane. The old releases of these classic games took up under 10 gigs combined for reference. Another red flag was that the collection is $35. Jeez, this is steep. Aspire believes their collection is worth $15 more than Battlefront 1 and 2 combined. Is it worth it? Hell no. Stay far away from this piece of crap game. I refunded it so fast. First off, the game only had three multiplayer servers at launch.
Oh yeah, they upped it to like 6 halfway through the night, but whatever.
The main reason anyone would buy this is to play those sweet 64 multiplayer modes, and only 192 players can be on at any given time. Even if you manage to get into a server, get ready for an ungodly amount of rubber banding, and I really hope you don't like this game because odds are you won't get to play it! I've scrolled through the Steam reviews, and even those that managed to get into servers reported not even being able to spawn.
Yeah, after note, I actually managed to get into a server.
I can't even spawn, and the music cut out. Rubber banding went crazy as well. That is how broken it is. Frankly, this is one of the most insulting and just infuriating releases I've seen from Disney. How could they desecrate the magnificent graves of Star Wars Battlefront? Aspire did fine with the Tomb Raider collection. How did they mess this up? It's Star Wars for crying out loud. Oh, and it gets worse. Don't like your vehicle controls being inverted? Too bad, too frickin' sad. There is no option in either game to make them normal. Who even likes inverted controls? Who in the world would ever want to slide their mouse up to go down? Guess what? It gets worse. Objects randomly pop in and out even when they are clearly in view. Geometry decides to get the milk and stuff stretches all over the place. How did they even do this? The OG games worked just fine on Steam. The bare minimum would have been to just put both games together like the Master Chief Collection so you could easily swap between the two and add crossplay. That could not have been that hard. But no, they decided to put all their effort into inflating the file size with the 4K textures that don't even look much better and stealing code from modders. Guess what? It gets worse. All the quality of life features this collection offers can be modded into the original games. Higher quality textures, hero assault on every map, UI changes, Windows fixes, all can be modded in or fixed with a /win shortcut. I wouldn't doubt Aspire used mods to make this. I also am kinda confused as to who this even appeals to, given they did less than zero. It's literally just both games in 4K, with the Xbox DLC, with Heroic Assault modded to work on every map, with millions of bugs. What old Battlefront fan is gonna put up with this? And any newcomer is just gonna see that the taunted 64 multiplayer feature is unplayable and leave. Freaking custom servers already exist for both Battlefronts in case you don't want to play the Steam servers. To make it even worse, all this release did was split the fans into now 3 different sources of servers. All it did was bring the games to console, which most could already play via backwards compatibility, and scam people out of $35. Now, the user base is split between old Steam servers, Aspire servers, and the modders they stole from servers. Add a little bit of poop on Battlefront's grave, and you have an accurate depiction of what this collection is. There is no benefit to this collection existing. It running its own servers is yet another detriment to the original game's population. If Aspire actually cared, they would have added crossplay and, made the game work, because that's the only way introducing a third source of servers for these games would have been beneficial. With this collection, you're paying more for less, dollar for dime. You're paying the price of 3.5 games for 2. And it's such a shame because so many people really want to see Battlefront 3, and this only hurts the cause. Guess we'll just have to accept we'll never likely get a new good Battlefront installment unless it's done by modders. In conclusion, save your money. Don't buy this crap. If you really want to experience these amazing games, just get the $10 re-releases on Steam. You'll be saving yourself $15 and be getting access to so many mods the collection just can't install yet. I even recommend skipping the first Battlefront, so you can save yourself $25 in total. Battlefront 2 has more features and mods that let you play a lot of the content from the first game, so if you're fine with modding, I would skip out on the first one. That's another thing. If you're not going to add crossplay, why wouldn't you add Steam Workshop support? When the original Battlefront 2 dropped, the devs gave the fans the dev tools like a year later. Imagine how cool it would have been to finally have Steam Workshop support. Such a shame. I have to end this video or I could be going forever about this garbage, so thanks for watching. You made it to the end. In the summer, I'll be hosting a big Battlefront 2 play session, so join the Discord if you're interested in running a game that works. And if that subscribe button is white, you're doing it wrong. Click it to make it gray. Have a nice day.